Back at it again, and wow, they've gotten really desperate. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you are new, and let's dive in.
All right, let's jump into this first story. This is absolutely insane. This is from Messenger Politics. Donald Trump's New York business empire must be dissolved, judge rules. Legal experts have described the extraordinarily rare order issued by a New York judge aimed at Trump's major businesses as the corporate death penalty. Crazy.
Now, before we continue on, big shout out to Tim Pool and the cast. I've stated this before. I love his show. I watch his show a lot, actually. Big shout out to Tim Pool. That's where this clip is coming from. I'm sure most of you already know who the guy Tim Pool is right there on your screen. He runs a fantastic show, has a great YouTube channel. Highly encourage you to go check it out as well. Like I said, that's where this clip is coming from. So I want to give credit to Tim Pool.
Look at this. A New York judge on Tuesday canceled the certificates of the key businesses behind Donald Trump's empire, ordering a quick timeline to dissolve the Trump Organization and other corporate entities. Okay, there's so much here. First,
I've also got another clip to add, excuse me, to add to this a little bit later. So stick around. You guys are not going to want to miss the clip that I have to add to this. All right.
I don't know exactly how Trump runs his businesses, but I have to imagine Trump is a New York guy, famously coming in and saving the city and the state, which means I'm assuming his businesses are registered, many of them in New York, and I would imagine are operating as a foreign corporation in other states. That's what it's called. Mm-hmm. So you file that. Now, considering how long he's been around, I would not be surprised if the bulk of his business may actually be out of Delaware or Nevada. We'll see. Right. But this is New York. Trump has, there's documentaries about how New York was failing, and Trump came in and said, I'm going to turn this city around. And he did. And he's got, how many buildings does he have in New York? I mean, official Trump buildings. There are two of them?
Well, he has like a whole thing on the west side. There's a bunch of Trump towers on the west side.
More than one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, he's got like a whole enterprise over there. And then he's also got the Trump Tower, which is right, I want to say it's right near Columbus Circle. I know that I've been there before.
I went there and got my MAGA hat there in 2017.
Right?
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a good spot for it.
That's the Trump International Hotel, I think.
The Trump International, yeah. And then he also has a Trump Tower
on Fifth Avenue.
On Fifth Avenue. I went to a party in a penthouse there once. It was amazing.
There's this giant golden Trump building there. I was like, you know what? I think I'm getting the MAGA hat. And so I just walked in and got it.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Trump did an awful lot for the city. He was born there. He was raised there. And these are people who have been determined to take him down. Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York State, ran her campaign on destroying Donald Trump. So did stupid Alvin Bragg in Manhattan, who's, of course, working to destroy Donald Trump. All of these people, they just hate him so much.
This is nuts.
It doesn't seem to have any real legal basis. Even this judge hates Trump and has said so before.
So they're saying that basically, we have this from CNBC, Trump and company liable for fraud in New York lawsuit, judge rules. This is not even a criminal proceeding.
That's right.
This is a civil case, and they are so look at this. The Messenger says 10 corporate entities, DJT Revocable Trust, right? I'm assuming that has something to do with his personal life, which is likely where he holds certain properties in his personal portfolio or family, not related to. So it depends. I mean, you never really know. I mean, you could do a lot of stuff with a trust, but I'm assuming the trust is probably for holding his property, personal stuff. The Trump Organization LLC, those right there. I mean, that's it. That's Trump. Mm-hmm. The Trump Organization. This is nuts. And then they mentioned a bunch of others like DJT Holdings Managing Member LLC. Some of these are, whatever. 401 North Wabash Venture LLC. This is basically just a building. Trump Old Post Office LLC, 40 Wall Street LLC. Basically, when you buy big property,
you create it, yeah.
You create a private entity that owns that property. Why? Okay, if you, regular citizen, sir, many of you own homes. If you own two houses and someone slips and falls in one, they can sue and take both your houses. You create a corporate entity, it shields you to a certain degree. So it always makes more sense to start a company. The company owns the property, you own the company, and that limits liability. Hey, how about that? So
I'm sitting here silent because Tim Pool explains all of this perfectly. So I'm just going to let you guys listen to this, and then I have a clip afterwards.
This means they're canceling the business that owns a building?
Yeah, so Trump has a lot of these corporations that own buildings, and they're canceling them on him. I wonder what's going to happen to Mar-a-Lago.
Well, Mar-a-Lago is Florida.
And
So,
Don Jr. owns it, I believe.
Really?
I believe he turned it over to Don Jr. a good few years ago.
So
That's
they
my
say,
understanding.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't own as much after his term as president, right?
Like maybe
he had-
Bedminster. I don't see Bedminster on there.
So they say Trump's attorney, Alina Habba, vowed to appeal the decision, which she called fundamentally flawed at every level. The fact that this court summarily found that there is no question of fact, finding in part that Mar-a-Lago is worth approximately $20 million, and issue a decision of this magnitude is an affront to our legal system. We intend to immediately appeal this decision because President Trump and his family, like every American business owner, is entitled to their day in court. So it was a summary judgment?
That doesn't seem at all reasonable.
I mean, okay, I didn't even know that. That doesn't, this story is breaking. But hold on. They say Judge Arthur Engoron canceled New York business certificates for Trump, the Trump Organization, and other defendants, including 2 of his sons. Wow.
And they dismissed the lawsuit against Ivanka, I think in June.
But was this a summary judgment? So this is Attorney General Letitia James. She filed this, and then the judge just banged the gavel. Yeah. And Gordon, granting partial summary judgment to James in the case, found that Trump made false and misleading valuations. This means Trump didn't even come and argue. The judge they file their paperwork, they file their arguments, and the judge goes, nah, done. Mm-hmm. Yo, wow.
Yeah, that's really messed up.
If they can actually essentially take the property by a summary judgment, I mean, then obviously that means that no one's property is safe anymore.
Well, which is, of course, what Trump's been saying this whole time, is that he's between the essential police and lawfare state and the rest of us.
I gotta stop. This is crazy. Look at this. Engoron also ordered sanctions of $7,500 for 5 attorneys who represented the Trump defendants for making frivolous and previously rejected arguments in court filings. This is crazy.
Yeah, you're not allowed to represent Trump. They're doing that in Georgia too.
Yeah.
I mean, they went for his attorneys.
To call this unprecedented is an understatement of the highest
It's
order.
an unprecedented understatement.
I mean, it really is. And again, this, and not that I'm trying to get Tim fired up again, but if the government is taking people's property and stuff, then the government is acting lawlessly. What recourse do the people have if you can't rely on the law? And where does this head? I'm not going to say it, but I don't see the off ramp.
Can I interject here? 'Cause
Sure.
I think
It's an interesting statement there.
the framing is wrong, right? Because this isn't the government. Because the government implies kind of a neutral entity that takes bipartisan consideration of all parties in the country, and the people being themselves a kind of non-partisan entity that just exists separate from the state. It's like it's kind of an archaic way of looking at it. What you have is a left-wing insurgent movement
100%.
that has taken over your country and is now persecuting the former president.
Yeah.
You can't overstate just how over your country is. I mean this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just bad, right? A country is predicated on goodwill between both parties. Right? No, you don't have goodwill. What you have is an active persecution of the former president, man. Your country is over. And now what's being settled is who gets to rule over the ruins.
All right, look. I certainly think we have our issues here in the United States, but I think, hey, Phil, someone's a little salty about 7076 over here.
Oh, man.
I was going to say, I mean, the man who
It'd
comes
be
from a
easy
failed
if that were the
empire
case,
himself.
right? But I'm very much in the dock that, hey, 1776 was a good thing and Trump should never have had a mugshot.
No, I agree. I'm just kidding.
You're living in a banana republic and your ex-president's being persecuted.
No, I actually like the mugshot. I think the mugshot was a good thing. The mugshot woke a lot of people up. I'm just saying. It backfired on the left. Completely backfired.
I've heard Carl say that the United States is actually the total fulfillment of the English common law of what England was supposed to be before. So I know that he doesn't have the.
So it's constitutional republic envy.
I've become a
Pizza
bit more
envy.
conservative since then.
Oh no.
Because I mean this isn't happening in my country.
No, your government's just going after businesses like Rumble.
Sure,
That's
but
correct.
that's not my property. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I think you're right because Attorney General Letitia James campaigned on being an activist. She
It's
was
the
open
total
from the beginning.
politicization of everything.
She didn't say, I'm going to uphold the law and be a representation of fairness. She said, we are going to disrupt the system. We're going to go after Trump. And she is open about her preferences for left-wing causes. I mean, there are a lot of organizations that she is specifically persecuting.
I mean, these people are fighting a war against you. Right?
Yes.
You do understand that. They're actively in arms against you. with all of the legal mechanisms they can find.
This is a cultural revolution.
Yeah, it is. And they're going to extirpate Trump from public life as much as they can. They're going to take everything from him as much as they can. And anyone who stands in alliance with him, I mean, Rudy Giuliani, for me, is crazy. The fact that, you know, he's got a mugshot too. That was America's mayor, wasn't it?
He's the greatest.
Yeah, he was the guy at 9/11. Right?
Yes.
You know, he's
Rudy
the guy,
Giuliani.
America's
Not
mayor.
just though.
exactly. But he's the guy who fucking ridded New York of crime, right?
It's before 9/11. He cleaned up the city amazingly well.
Yeah, right. He got rid of the mobs and stuff, right? And if
He
Rudy
basically-
Giuliani can essentially be paraded around in chains like the failed opposition in a Roman civil war with Donald Trump and everyone else around him, I mean, what kind of country?
Failed
do you guys-
Roman Civil War. Tell me more. What is it?
Well, I mean, okay. In a
and your Roman
in a Roman
Empire.
civil war, basically the losing party get killed, right? But they're on the path to doing that. They're not going to kill Donald Trump. They're just going to ruin him. So he's like old blind Belisarius begging for pennies outside of Rome. Right?
I don't know that they wouldn't kill him should it look like he's going to win come November.
If they could, they would, but they won't.
They might try and kill him before. I mean, did you see?
don't think
What's her
they-
name? Megyn Kelly was talking about that.
Yeah.
No,
Which
they're going to do this. They're
She
gonna
was
just
saying that
destroy him.
she's concerned that people are going to try and assassinate Trump.
Yeah, I think the time for that's passed. I think they've got the machine in motion, and what they're going to do is just systematically grind down Trump and everyone associated with him, everything MAGA, everything
Yes.
protester.
So,
Well,
but
a big
this,
part of-
They're going to stigmatize it as terrorism.
but this is
eventually.
why
Which they've been doing already.
Yeah.
So also, you guys remember when they were talking about she ran on going after Trump? Check this out.
Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass. He's going to know my name personally.
Well, there you have it. It's not speculation. It's not conspiracy theory. She actually said it. And she's following through, I guess, you know, to her credit. But there's also something very interesting about all of this that no one's really talking about. Check this out.
We have some major developments in the China cash flow to the Biden family to tell you about today. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says President Joe Biden's home in Wilmington, Delaware, was listed as a beneficiary address for two bank wires, one for $250,000, one for $10,000, payments to his son Hunter from Chinese nationals. And welcome into Newsline today. I'm Bianca Della Garza. Great to have you. More on that. But first, again tonight, Newsmax airing former President Donald Trump's entire speech from Michigan as he will speak to blue-collar workers on strike, the United Auto Workers, and it's going to be in Clinton Township. And we're also learning the audience of invited guests will consist of union members, workers from the plant where the event is taking place, and local leaders. And our own John Bachman will also be sitting down with former President Trump. That comes your way tonight at 8 o'clock. But a lot of reaction over what is happening in the case in New York. Cable news had a frenzy saying it was fraud. The New York judge ruling yesterday that former President Donald Trump was defrauding banks and insurers for years as he built his real estate empire. A charge, of course, President Donald Trump has vigorously defended, and they will be appealing this. Defending the Trump Organization is a great company that is often maligned by this politically motivated witch hunt. MSNBC yesterday said it's very likely Trump will lose the ability to operate his business in New York. But of course, again, this was a judge's ruling. There has not been a jury or a trial yet. It was Justice Arthur Engoron making this ruling ahead of the $250 million civil lawsuit being brought against Trump, his sons, and the Trump Organization by New York Attorney General Letitia James, who campaigned on getting Trump. We all remember that. Well, the judge agreed with James that Trump overvalued his assets and exaggerated his net worth. A lot of questions about this move. Trump, of course, is under fire here. But, you know, where's the media reporting about Joe Biden and these new bank wire revelations? Now,
Where's the media? Don't you find it interesting that some news about Joe Biden dropped, but then also, oh, look, guys, Trump found liable. I just find that interesting. You know, I just find that very, very interesting. But yeah, there's more though. Check this out.
was also found in the summary judgment to be part of this. Donald, great to have you in. Thanks for being with us today.
Good to be with you.
I know you're shaking your head because a lot of folks are today. So basically, this one judge makes a ruling, not a real estate expert, we want to say, and I just made a point, there's no jury yet. It'll go to trial. I know you guys will appeal this. But how is this even possible all these years later? Because there were also disclaimers on all these paperworks. There was a lot of other people involved. That these loans were paid back. There was money made. There's no victim here. Where is this $250 million even going to, Donald?
Well, that's exactly the point. There is no victim. The judge unilaterally decides the value of an asset. For example, he used Mar-a-Lago and said it has a value of $18 million. Now, I understand to a lot of people that you say, wow, that's a really expensive home. But Mar-a-Lago is 20 acres on both the lake and the ocean in Palm Beach, Florida. A lot that's 2.2 acres within about a half a mile of Mar-a-Lago right now, just vacant lot, not on the ocean, is on the market for $150 million. But Mar-a-Lago, that's about 10 times the size of that land-wise, with one of the most spectacular homes anywhere in the world. Yes, that's only worth 18 because a judge unilaterally decided that. They decided that disregarding all of the experts, actual real estate brokers from Palm Beach that put valuations on it, disregarded sworn testimony from bankers like Deutsche Bank who said, no, we do our own independent appraisals, because of course they do. Bianca, any one of your viewers who's ever gotten a home loan understands that the banks are getting their own appraisals. You're actually paying for them. Those are third-party unaffiliated. And so you're right, there is no victim. The banks were paid back in full. They made interest. They frankly made a lot of profits, which is why we're still, despite all of this insanity, able to work with banks, because they understand we're good credit. We run spectacular properties. We make them money and we don't default. But that doesn't matter in this day and age because Donald Trump decided to take on the establishment. By the way, this judge... and you saw all the videos about Letitia James. She ran a campaign before even being in office or seeing any actual evidence of she was going to get Trump. This judge gave her more than she was even asking for. I mean, think about that. On his own volition, in summary judgment, just said, you know what? We're not going to go to this. I'm going to decide right now, with no expert witnesses and disregarding them, frankly, that I'm going to say that everything that she said is 100% accurate, and that stands. The judge disregarded the appellate division, who ruled on so many of the things he just chose to ignore.
Yeah. So this whole situation is pretty wild. I'm sure there's some things about it that I don't quite understand because I'm not a legal expert. But I do find it interesting that, you value a property at $20 million, allegedly, right? And, Don Jr. said that there was a property that's vacant, that's much smaller, and is being listed at like $100 million. Now, it being listed doesn't mean that that's what it's worth. That's just what someone's asking for it. Because your property is really only worth what someone's willing to buy it for, right? I don't care what you say. You could say your property's worth $1 billion. Yeah, my home's worth $1 billion. Yeah, okay. Well, if nobody's willing to pay you $1 billion for your property, well, then that means absolutely nothing. Because those are gains that you will never realize. You will never see. Okay? So your property's only worth what someone's willing to buy it for. So I take a little bit off, for it just being listed. But the fact that it is listed at such a high number, it's completely vacant, lets me know that Mar-a-Lago's more than likely worth a lot more than $20 million. I mean, I've never been to Mar-a-Lago. I would like to, Hey, yo, somebody send this to Trump. I don't know who owned, somebody on Trump's team. If you're watching, I would like to pay Uncle Trump a visit at Mar-a-Lago. But I have seen pictures of Mar-a-Lago, and it looks massive and it looks incredible. I would highly doubt that it's only worth $20 million. And I say only, and like he already said, I mean, $20 million is a lot of money. Don't get it twisted. Like, if you want to give me $20 million, hey, I appreciate it. Okay. But, yeah, I highly doubt that it's only worth $20 million. That doesn't even sound right? That just doesn't even sound right. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Yeah, y'all let me know in the comment section if we have any real estate agents or real estate experts. Let us know in the comment section what Mar-a-Lago is actually worth. I find it hard to believe that it's only worth 20 million though. But how are you guys feeling about all of this? I'm honestly kind of on the fence with it, right? You know, it annoys me, it angers me that all of this BS is going on, but then it also it excites me because of, you know, one of the things I showed you guys yesterday in the video. People are waking up to the truth. People are waking up to the BS. I showed you guys a post on what I would consider a leftist media account where they posted about this situation, right? They posted former President Donald Trump accused of business fraud. And a lot of the comments on what I would consider is a leftist page. Now, I don't have any facts to back that up. I don't know who's actually running it. But a lot of the comments from a lot of black folks were either, you know, something along the lines of we don't care, or go after Joe Biden, or I'm still voting for Trump, you know. So it's waking a lot of people up to what's actually happening. So I guess it's good in that way. You know, we don't have so many people sleepwalking anymore, not realizing what's happening around them. So I'm kind of on the fence with it. How are you guys feeling about it? Let me know in the comment section below. If we have any legal experts, how do you think this is going to turn out? Let me know. Peace and love, family. I'm out.